All right. Technical difficulties over, I hope.
That's what happens when you pick on the Cowboys.
I know, right? I pick on the Cowboys, and there we go.
Yeah, America's team.
This is Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal. We're doing a pregame show from the pit tonight before the Texas A&M block, and our guest here, Texas A&M-Corpus Christi Islanders taking on the UNM Lobos. Jarvis Felton is now our guest because I actually have it working now. I was asking him. He already answered this once, and it was eloquent. He's going to try and do it again.
You only get one, Jeff. You only get one.
I asked him, when you have the scout, when you're the assistant coach that has the scout on the team, what is your role the night of the game? Like right now, we're about 38 minutes, according to the clock, 38 minutes before game time. What are you doing right now, or is it pretty much done at this point?
Most of it's done, but like I said, you want to make sure any last-minute nuggets that you can give on personnel, tendencies of players, maybe something that the other team likes to run in a certain situation. You just want to make sure you go over that with you, your head coach, your point guards, make sure they kind of know what's going on, and then it all kind of disseminates down to the rest of the guys.
I'm curious, the players, when you've been through this enough, how many players can you tell in pregame what kind of game they're going to have, and how many players do you not have any idea?
Zero for zero. I'd be lying to you if I told you could really tell. I mean, some guys
you could probably tell if they're not going to have it, I guess, sometimes.
Some
right?
guys
if they're really out
different.
Of it.
Some guys they like being loose, maybe more loose than even you as a coach, and then they go out and play well. Some guys could be really, you think they're, ready to go, and they're too anxious, and now they're too tight, and now they don't play very well. So I think it's a fine line, and as I've gotten older in this, I figured out I know less.
Yeah.
So I don't even.
That's life, right?
You get a feel for your team as a group. I don't necessarily know if you get that big a feel for individuals from one game to the next because it changes for them as well. They're still young in the process. I wouldn't tell you that they all have their routines completely down from one game to the next where it's like clockwork, But for the most part, you get a feel for when guys are locked in and ready to go.
You guys have a good group here, a mix. Obviously, some young guys going through this for the first time, but for the most part, you got a bunch of guys who've been through the Division I process before. This isn't new to them. They're not going to get intimidated by fans, scrolling in and seeing thousands of people here before the game even starts.
Sure.
Let me ask you
we hope
this.
all that's out of the way.
You hope, right? Let me ask you this before there's a reader question I'm going to ask you in a second about Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. There's a UCLA game that happened just last week, which is huge to Lobo fans, huge for the program. You beat number 22 UCLA. It's a win that should do well because no matter what UCLA looks like now, I'd be shocked if the Mick Cronin UCLA team that has that much talent isn't pretty good by about 2 weeks from now or now.
Yep.
But definitely by January and February. So that's gonna sit well for you guys all year. How have they responded to it?
We'll find out tonight.
You won't know, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we're interested to see is how do we respond after being up. I thought our guys did a great job of responding. We didn't play particularly well, especially defensively against Nichols. And in their prep for getting ready for UCLA, we were on it. Our guys were focused and ready to go. And then it's human nature. You come off a big win, and especially in today's age when Twitter, what Nick Saban used to call it rat poison.
Right,
guys,
rat poison.
Twitter and social media and everybody telling our guys how good they are and how great they are.
And there's a lot of that here. I mean, that's the good and the bad of having a fan base.
It's not just here, but it's everywhere. Right. When the team comes off a win like we had, you're gonna get that. You're gonna feel that. You should feel that as an individual.
Sure.
That confidence and kind of. But now you got to snap back and get ready to go. And I think we've done that the last couple of days for practice. But you never know until you actually get into the game and have another opportunity to go and prove yourself.
This question is going to be specific to Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. It's from JT, who's watching us on YouTube. JT is asking, to put you on the spot here, what is the strength of the Islanders and how do you stop it? Before you answer that, answer that, and then I got a follow-up to this.
Great question. I would say probably one of their biggest strengths is their pace of play, their ability to turn people over defensively. They forced 16 turnovers against Purdue the other night, and then they also, they were top 35 in steals last year. So they like to turn people over, get out and run in transition, and then and play from there.
How much of this time of year, be it last week, a season opener, this still kind of a season tune-up, or early season kind of game, we know the difference between the UCLA game and these games. It's not that you overlook them, but they're a little bit different, right? In the caliber of the opponent.
This time of year, you're trying to figure out who you are.
Well, so that's what I'm curious about. In a game against Texas A&M-Corpus Christi or against Nichols, how much preparation do you put into them and how much preparation do you put into yourself, as opposed to league play where it might, I don't know if it's 50-50, but it's probably a lot more balanced.
No, you're gonna try to help your team any way you can. So you're gonna spend some time preparing, whatever their top 3 or 4 things that they like to do offensively. If they have anything unique that they do defensively to give your guys, you don't want your guys going to the game surprised about stuff. And so whether it's Nichols or UCLA or A&M-Corpus Christi or St. John's or whoever you play, that you're going to try to always give yourselves, because you're trying to prepare your team to be the best they can be and develop a routine. Like we said, you always want to have a routine for the season, and game prep is part of that.
You've been at this now 3 years here. Do you see in, I guess, this team here, it's such a unique setup where Pitino came with 2 kind of pillars in Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. And then it was really a foregone conclusion who the keys were being handed over to for a couple of years. The future of the team was going to be Donovan running the point. Have you seen, because it's sort of already been predetermined, everything fall into place, or have other people stepped up and sort of taken over the team, even though, we make narratives in the media all the time about stuff like Donnie's taking over the team. Who else has sort of maybe taken over the team a little bit, or do they just sort of fall in place with what we all think is going to happen? No,
I think this group has done a really good job. I think we have some really good leadership on this team from not only Donovan, but like Nelly and Mustafa and CJ, our older guys, our captains. I think they've done a good job of putting their stamp on the team and being able to echo the things that our coaches want, preaching to them on a daily basis about just try to increase their value and prepare to be the best team we could be come March.
All right, a couple more and I'll let you get going. I know you got work to do. On a health front, I'm not asking for any breaking news or anything like that, but after a couple games, everybody doing okay for the most part? It seems like you guys are all pretty good for the most part.
I think we're healthy. Normal nicks and bruises this time of year, but
don't
I think
let
we're
Donnie
okay.
Slip again.
Yeah. You got to learn how to slide.
I know, right?
It's like a second baseman.
The guy seems to be able to do everything but slide properly. So health-wise, you guys are doing good, but you guys got another big one this week in St. John's.
I'm gonna focus on this one tonight before we get to that one.
I give Richard a hard time about this. Like, I know what happened last year at the end of the season where the committee said what it said, but it seems like he overdid it and over-scheduled you guys. You guys have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, UCLA and St. John's in the first 4 games is tough. Now that you got that UCLA win, you almost wish you could kind of ease into the rest of it, or are you fine with?
No, I mean, the schedule's made in whenever it was May, August, September, or the summer. You play who's put in front of you. You go from there and try to make the most of it. You can only control what you can control, which is show up and play and try to get better every day. Because we know league play is going to be tough. And, last year we had 6 teams in the NCAA tournament, so clearly there was some really good teams in the Mountain West. So you got to prepare yourself. You try to prepare yourself more for that, as well as build a national resume to try to put yourself in a position to have a chance to get to the NCAA tournament.
Nelly is a guy. I said 2 more. I lied. There's 1 more here coming right now. Nelly's a guy that's blowing up so far in 2 games. I want to know, A, are you surprised at all by that? And B, why is Nelly off to such a good start right now?
Well, he's not fresh off the boat like he was last year.
I mean, I think people forget that and don't realize what that means.
Oh, it means a lot. But, I think he had a really good summer because he was here and he was able to work on his game. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence, which he's always had the talent. He was an all-league guy when he was at Iona. And so I think we're kind of seeing that kind of come to the forefront. I think Nelly's gotten comfortable and understands what we want from him on a daily basis, and he's able to do that. So I think those are the things that are allowing him to be good. Was that?
He's hit that gym a lot too.
Yes,
I mean, Matt's got him stronger than last year.
He was already strong. Dude.
Yeah,
like he's just got some natural strength that he just came with. Now he's enhanced it by being with Matt, but yeah, he's a great kid and happy for him his success, and he's just got to continue to build on a daily basis.
Since it's related, I'll ask Frank on YouTube is asking, what's the likelihood of Nelly and Atiki playing at the same time?
Never.
I kind of thought that might be the answer, but
Maybe, who knows? But I mean, they're both 5 men, so I think it's probably tougher for us to put both those guys in today's game when other people are playing, perimeter 4 men like Mustafa, guys like that. So it be a little tough, but be fun. They've done it a couple times in practice.
Yeah.
It's not fun to see.
Right. I think people sometimes assume it'll just work, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work. It's the problem. So, all right, Tarvis, I appreciate it. You got some work to do. You got a game to get
Thanks,
to.
Brother.
We'll be doing this throughout the year, I guess, and pregame a little bit. So we'll be seeing you again.
Okay, man.
Have a good night, man.
Thanks. Go Lobos.
There's Tarvis Felton, Lobo assistant coach. And thank you guys for some of those comments and reader comments. Thank you, Tarvis, for joining us there. Let me I will now high quality stuff here, right? I will now show you guys Lobo basketball warm-ups here, and see if I can't zoom out a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of it. Now that's some exciting stuff right there. A lot of Lobos, bad news, Lobo fans. A lot of them are laying on the ground right now. It doesn't look good. They're stretching. To Jimmy H, your question here on YouTube, is Donovan Dent 100%? I would tell you no. I think it's safe to say he's not 100%, but I will also say that he's suited up. I mean, he is right there at the bottom of the screen getting worked on right now by the team team trainer rather, and a week ago, I didn't know 100% that he was going to, or no, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know 100% that he was going to play against UTEP because he was basically, he had a knee injury. He had hurt it in practice. He had slipped on a wet spot in practice, walked off the court fine, but I just kind of thought they would take it easy and maybe not play him. He ended up playing against UTEP just fine. The knee's bothered him since a little bit, but he hasn't missed practices. He hasn't missed a game. When he went down in the game Friday against UCLA, everybody knew exactly. Everybody around the program knew exactly what it was and hoped it would be the same, because what it is I'm not a doctor here. What I can tell you that I know about it though is that it's something that's really painful that happens to his knee immediately. It hurts. It is something that can be handled, and in Friday's case, it was wrapped up. And if he can then handle the pain, he can get back on the court, and that's what he's been doing. But it is not, it's certainly not anything that's pain-free. Got another question here. Juan Beza is asking if Dent has a reduced role tonight, and that is him stretching there on the bottom left of your screen. If Dent has a reduced role tonight, who do you think gets the nod as the main ball handler? Is it Dodson? I think tonight is the night you make sure Kate Dodson is your primary backup at point guard, because you could probably, no disrespect to Texas A&M-Corpus Christi, but you're probably going to want to see what you get out of Kate Dodson in games like UCLA and St. John's. You want to see as much of that before you put him in the UCLA and St. John's type games, right? So you want a little more game film and a little more exposure to all that before Sunday's game against St. John's, which is going to be high pressure on ball defense by the Red Storm and by Rick Pitino's team. So I do think Kate Dodson will get a lot of opportunity tonight to handle the ball, to run the point. I think they want to get him ready for what he's about to see Sunday with the Red Storm and St. John's with their on-ball pressure. So I would say Kate Dodson is got to be the likely candidate for that. What do we got here? Royce Lackey. Kate, yeah, same thing. Dodson seems to be the only other ball handler. I would say yes in general. That is true. He's certainly the only other point guard. The guy that can truly run a point guard position. Now you can get by with some other guys running the point. I will tell you that Philip Borovishinin not only can handle the ball. This is no joke. Even at 6'9", I'm told he can run the point. He would be their third string kind of point guard right now. So we'll see. I don't think you want a 6'9" guard being your point guard unless he is used to being a point guard, and he is not. but I'm told that he can run the point and probably will get some minutes doing so, maybe even tonight, just to make sure he's okay with it. I'll tell you this, too. I looked through the assists, and Donnie had 8 assists on Friday against UCLA, right? Nelly had been going off for a game and a half and then got shut down in the second half against UCLA because they kind of had a pick your poison sort of game where they shut down Nelly, but Donnie continued to go off on him. Well, if you look at all the assists Donovan has had, about 3 or 4 of them have gone to Nelly. Not as many as I would have thought. Philip Borovishinin, he's had 3 and Donnie has had 4. And if you look at the entry pass and the way Philip Borovishinin gives an entry pass to Nelly Jr. Joseph and sets him up in the perfect spot, in the right spot, and how often Nelly scores or is in a good position based on a Philip entry pass, just watch that a little bit, because I think he's actually been doing it, frankly, maybe even better than Donovan a little bit, although a lot of Donovan's assists or entry passes to Nelly have set up fouls too, so it hasn't really showed up as an assist or anything. But I'm telling you, Philip Borovishinin has really actually set Nelly up as much, almost as much or about as much as Donovan Dent has so far this year. Royce also says, I like CJ Nolan's game, makes his free throws. He did. He went 8 for 8 against UCLA, and obviously they need to do that. Nelly has been shooting out of his mind at the free throw line so far this year. I will remind people he shot like 53 or 54% last year. The fact that he's shooting like 80% through 2 games this year probably won't last, but he will get fouled all year. So he will continue to get fouled all season. I just don't know how often his free throws are going to, be going down. So, Jimmy, no problem. Thanks for the explanation. What else we got here? Juan has another one from YouTube. Philip, it's such an interesting guy. So much of his film is with his international team. You see him running the one, doing well too. I have not seen him run the point on any extended basis. I'm told he has, though, in the point or in practice. I'm told he can. I'm not suggesting they want that. I'm suggesting they want Donovan to be their 99.9% available every time they want him point guard. They want Kate Dotson to be as far as a backup goes, the 99.9% available backup. If they have to go to a third point guard for any extended time, I do think Philip Borovishinin is the guy they can go to and that they would be comfortable with going to. Eric Markham on YouTube says True and Philip can both run the point. I do think that True can handle it as well a little bit. I think you take away True's. I think you take away a lot if you want True to run the point. You want True's energy to be on defense, and he also is a good off-ball guard or off. I think he's a good wing or two guard offensively. But man, I would hate wasting any ounce of energy from True Washington on anything other than his potential to be Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West Conference. But yes, if in a pinch, I do think True Washington can handle some point guard duties. What else we got here? Adam Lopez. It's Graham Reception. Seeing you on my phone and here in the pit. It is crazy. That is right. We're going to be doing these throughout the year. I don't know if it's going to be a 6. When I'm getting one of the assistant coaches, I have to either kind of do it like more at 6:20-ish, or I got to do it like at 5:40-ish. Tonight, I wasn't ready setup-wise at 5:40. So, I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys prefer, too. So, here we go. We got a question here. Should the Lobos be ranked? As an AP voter, I'll say no, because I did not rank them. I had no problem with anybody who wanted to. They did get 15 points, which puts them 10 spots outside of the ranking. 6 of 63, I think it is, voters this year. 6 AP voters did vote or put UNM on the ballot. I think what you have to remember is that they have a 2-game sample size. They did not play good against Nicholls State. They won, but you're supposed to win that game. They played really, really good against UCLA, But to ignore one just because the other one was so impressive would be sort of a little I guess intellectually dishonest if you're really trying to be smart about how you do these polls. So I will say that they handled their business tonight, and they look even competitive in a loss, or if they look, I don't care what they look like if they win. They'll be ranked next week with a win for sure against St. John's. But I'm telling you, even competitive against St. John's, you're going to start to erase any doubts that people might have in terms of, what these Lobos can be as a ranked team. A lot of people are wondering, what can the Lobos be without Jalen House? What can they be without this Jamal Mastering Jr. who scored 22 and 25, I think, so far in 2 games for Temple this year? I don't know what he's doing tonight. What can they be without JT Toppin, who's an NBA prospect? You lose 3 huge prospects like that, or 3 talents like that, there's a lot of voters who are very skeptical about the Lobos right now. So we'll see. Of course, Royce and a lot of Lobo fans think, hell yes, they should be ranked. Andy Katz has a video on how the Lobos are the most robbed team. Andy Katz, who certainly has some New Mexico in his family and in his blood from his time at the Journal, has always been very kind to the Lobos, and but he's not wrong either. I'm not saying anybody who thinks the Lobos should be ranked are necessarily wrong. I'm just telling you, I want a little bit more from him first before I know for sure. Eric's got another comment. I love how coaches utilize his bench and work the rotation. I agree. I'm surprised at how much he's used his bench. I thought he would cut it down to a primary 7, 8, or 9 pretty quick. He's used 12 a game every night, and a little surprised by that, but we'll see if that keeps up. Let's see here. What do you think about 3-point shooting so far? Well, I'll tell you. I wrote last week. Hold on one second. I got to get a drink. I wrote last week, and I asked Richard Patino a loaded question saying, look, this team's weakness is outside shooting. And against Nicholls State, they shot, what was it, like 22 first half 3-pointers? Well, I do still think this team's weakness is outside shooting and 3-point shooting. But I might have spoke a little too soon to sort of imply that they're really bad at it. I do think it's their weakness. They may not be horrible at it. I just think that they're a team that would prefer to run their offense through the paint, either Nelly or Donnie driving. Kind of like with Jalen last year. Jalen should have touched the paint every possession just because it messes up with defense when you can do that. So you go through the paint, good things happen on offense. That's what they want. But those kick-out threes should be available this year. I just don't know who's going to consistently knock them down. CJ and Mustafa are guys that went 1 for 9 in the opener. Those are 2 guys that you would expect to knock them down. So the opener wasn't a good showing for their 3-point shooting. Another one from Royce, just adding that Andy Katz has the Lobos at 20th in his top 36. Moise says he bought, let's see. Who would you consider the Lobos' third option on offense, Washington or Nolan? I would say probably True Washington. I don't know. Maybe even Mustafa. I guess it depends on the matchup. I think Mustafa can be a matchup problem because if the other team has a good 2 big man setup, right? You have Mustafa who can stretch him out as a 3-point threat. I think you want Mustafa to sort of maybe exploit that a little bit. I think True and CJ can both exploit another guard, but man, I really think there's maybe 3 options there in Mustafa, True, and CJ Nolan. It's a good question. And because I love True Washington on defense so much, I might actually still say CJ or Mustafa before True, just because I'm all about saving True's energy as much as I can for defense. But good question. I'll have to think about that more. I thought Washington before this year, but Nolan seems better to me after 2-game sample. What do you think, Moises? Washington might be the answer. It just kind of comes down to like what you want out of these players, right? One might be a little better on offense, but he's so much better on defense. You might want him to emphasize that and kind of focus on that, but we'll see. So we're getting closer. Game clock shows 14 minutes before game time. We got Texas A&M-Corpus Christi here kind of doing their final bits of preparation. We should have one more rundown, I believe, from the Lobos. They'll usually come down, do one more kind of quick round of warming up for about 10 minutes, go to the locker room one more time, and no. I guess at 14 minutes, they're up there for good now. Next time they come down, I think will probably be for the game. I'm off a little bit here doing the show, not thinking like I normally am, but anyway. So let me know what you guys think about these shows. First one doing it, obviously I got to get this set up a little bit more comfortable, and I got to get going. We're going to pack all this away, and we're going to get going. And we will start doing more of these. I don't think I'm taking the equipment to New York with me on this trip, but next home game and traveling after that, I think we're going to start setting these up. Probably at least a 20-minute pregame show every night, if not a half hour or 40 minutes if we can get it. But I will try not to cut into, as I already have, I'm trying hard not to cut into Robert Portnoy's pregame show. They're the ones paying big bucks for people to listen to their pregame, and you can listen to that now on 770 KKOB and 96.3 FM. So appreciate you guys for listening, appreciate you guys for watching, and appreciate you guys for participating. And until next time, thanks for being here. Check out our coverage after the game. Obviously, abqjournal.com/sports. I'll have a post-game press conference video. I'll have a post-game story, obviously. And then tomorrow morning, first thing when you wake up, take a look for my Emptying the Notebook column. And it's been doing pretty good. People still like that Emptying the Notebook. So take a look for that. Morning after every Lobo game in the regular season, I put together an Emptying the Notebook column. So appreciate you guys for being here. Until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Lobos start in about 15 minutes now.